Good morning. We're going to church this morning. It's kind of early. I was up this morning, mainly because I had a weird thought, I guess. You know, there are certain aspects of the Bible that obviously certain Christians don't adhere to, and certain parts they do. What would judge what you should and shouldn't follow, I guess boils down to really, do you want to believe the truth, or do you want something that's comfortable? The truth of the Bible is not comfortable. And you're drifting so far away after so many thousands of years, to then all of a sudden get fully back to the Scripture, it's going to be painful. But I can understand why other people question Christianity, because if we aren't sure of it ourselves, then how are they to believe what we know we believe? And I'll give you an example. At the church, and let's not go with the Old Testament, let's go with some New Testament stuff. I remember it was Paul that was writing. I don't remember where it was, but he was talking about women should be silent in the church and learn by being submissive. Well, you go into churches today and women speak all the time. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that in direct violation of Scripture? Now, one may say, well, see, I have a personal sin that I struggle with. Right. I know it's a sin, and I know I shouldn't do it. I do it anyway. Even though I don't want to, sometimes my sinful nature just takes over and it just happens. But you go to church as a spiritual cornerstone, roadblock, lighthouse, give you the direction to follow. So if the church itself doesn't follow those rules, and it's just numerous things, I think, that to appease how the world is today with women's lib and rights, which in essence is kind of a fallacy, because the only thing that hurts is your kids. During the nurturing times of their process, you're sending them off to daycare or school when you should be taking care of the children. That's a blessing, to have a mother who stays home and takes care of the kids. And it's not like a lesser job. If anything, that's more difficult, because I've tried it before. I know how much more difficult it is. And that's where the respect comes in, where you respect the woman for having to do that. And yes, you go work and earn the money, but guess what? It's a team effort. You come back and you share it among each other. You realize that you're both working hard. If not, she's working harder. So yeah, when he comes home, he should help out, do the dishes. If she cooks, he does the dishes or cleans. It's a partnership, and this whole idea that, the woman's just going to cook, clean, and serve, that's not what the Scripture says, But because there's this over-cautiousness about that, they're going to drift so far in the opposite direction to where now we have woman preachers, which is an absolute abomination. It goes against everything the Scripture says. A woman is not to preach. You need to be a husband of one wife. That's what it says in the Scripture. That's what we need to follow. And I just find it funny when people can read that Scripture and just blaze right over it and not even, think about, wow, we have a woman preacher. Doesn't seem like, according to this, you shouldn't be preaching. They don't stand up and say that. That's because we're sheeple, And I just wanted to say we need to get back to the roots. And yeah, the roots aren't comfortable. I don't want the roots. I want to enjoy my sexual sin. When I say it like that, it sounds bad, but that's what it is. When you have lustful thoughts and you expand on those beyond just the thought, capturing that thought and sending it to the back burner, you dwell on it, and that's sin. Okay, but I like those thoughts. I do. I'm not going to lie. I love those thoughts, but that's my sinful nature talking that wants those things. But I'm not saying, okay, yes, it's okay, even though I read in the Scripture says it's not okay, and I'm saying, yeah, it is okay as long as I do it this, and this way. That's exactly what happens with women preachers. And I'm fed up with it, The Bible is very clear on what it says, you should do, and what you shouldn't do. Okay? Now, I understand people are struggling with sin and doing things they shouldn't do. That's understandable. It's a battle that you're struggling with the Lord. But then to stand in a position of authority and saying this is what the Scripture says, and you're in direct violation of that, God doesn't smile too highly on that.